Good evening, everybody. Take number 2 of the night. We are here at Kansas with the Aussie Outlaws. It is round number 12 of the championship here for the Cup Championship. We apologise about the slight delays and the technical issues coming in to tonight's broadcast. We have just had a couple of little niggling issues happening, so we apologise in advance about that one. But the race is very much underway, and we are finally live and ready to go with the broadcast. I'm Mr. Carl Wilkinson with the Up here in the booth, joined by Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Finally got it sorted out. Thanks to Kobe Jordan for jumping in and trying to lend his hand too. But yeah, technical issues would never be the same without some gremlins on broadcast night.
Absolutely, you got to love them indeed. Well, we did miss our qualifying and we did miss our setting up of the grid, so we're just going to run through the order of tonight's race to give you an idea who we've got racing out there. Taking pole position, we have Jeremy Sumter. He's dropped down to third position at the moment. He's been overtaken by Mr. Ryan Jones and Stevie Dubb, the two DPR cars at the moment, building up quite a lead. Jeremy Sumter sits down in third. We've got Nick Bottrell in fourth position with Mark Smith in fifth. Jared Williams in sixth. Seventh for Carl Needler. Jamie Nankervis in eighth. Ninth for Kai Turner. Tom Williams down in 10th position. It's Scott Lefevre in 11th with Wayne Van Billy in 12th. 13th for Justin Allen. Andrew Dyson down in 14th position. Norman Clark 15th. 16th for Ruben Phelps. Tristan Koch in 17th. And Derek Jacobs dropping down 3 laps after making a little mistake early on in the race. Just caught the apron. Lost the rear of the car. A little bit of a spin. But he is back out there after... it looked like possibly changing his tyres because he may have got a little bit too much heat in them. But we are here at Kansas tonight, a track that is very, very quick and requires you to really have a good control on the car, good control on the throttle. Really want to drive the car a little bit off the rear here, not too much off the front, because that will give you the best time possible. And it is a track that can be a little bit challenging. So we're here for 267 laps here tonight, 15 completed. We've not missed too much out on track at the start of the broadcast, so luckily nothing too exciting has happened, just a couple of passes for position. I think the main thing to be looking at are the two DPR cars out in front, streaking away at the moment. Both of them have got some good pace under their belts here tonight, Mark.
Yeah, definitely right, Carl. We know these DPR cars are fantastic on these 1.5s. So just have to keep an eye on them. You know, Jerry Sumter will come back to them, sitting there in third place. Also, we will see that Valve Esports team come back too.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing of long run pace here. That's going to be part of the race. Long run pace is so crucial at Kansas, and you can have a really good short run pace here, but it does not last long. Once those tires start wearing down, once you start getting into the race, it really, really does start to really favour long run. And it depends on how people have got those cars set up. We've got a few people with some good setups here tonight. They could absolutely come back in the long run here and start closing the gap. But at the moment, 2.4 seconds at the lead. The DPR car's looking very switched on. The good thing for them is they've kind of got clean air at the moment. Stevie Dubb is tucked underneath Jonesy's rear spoiler at the moment, but they're out front. They're not having to battle. They're able to choose their lines, and they're able to run the lines they want, and that's really going to help them out with tyre preservation and speed as well. So they are absolutely cruising along at the moment at a vast rate of knots. We got some racing going on a bit further back as Carl Needler and Jared Williams are battling it out on track at the moment. And it looks like Williams is about to make a big run on the outside. in the Camry and makes a big pass, and he's going to be followed through with Jamie Nankervis. Needler got pinched down low, and that cost a lot of speed there, and that really, really hurt him in that section, losing 2 positions in, well, 1 corner.
Yeah, definitely right. Also tonight, Carl, we've got a debutant, Carl Turner, out there in the 408 Monster. We have seen him run before in the Ants car, so it's good to see him jump over to the Aussie Outlaws and take up another series. Also tonight, we've got the return of the one of the SRM cars, Ruben Phelps, out there having another run tonight. So it's good to see him back out there on track too. Sitting down in 15th spot at the moment, but we know how those SRM guys run. They tend to wait until that last section of the stint of the race and then come on strong.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a bit of a waiting game, and patience can be an absolute virtue here on this track. And it's one of those places that really, really rewards somebody that doesn't take too much out of the car too soon. And we're seeing a few different lines being driven. Most drivers are keeping it sort of in the middle. But now we got Ryan Jones just taking it a little bit lower through the corners. We've got Jeremy Sumpter running up high. So we've got a few different options, but we have got a caution flag out. First caution of the night, and it's Scott Lefevre is pointing in the wrong direction because there's been a huge wreck on the back straight between Lefevre, Needler, and there was another car involved in that as well. I think it was Wayne Van Billion. Big accident between those two, just a bit of contact. And
got the replay up now, Carl.
So getting the replay here with these cars, and we're a little bit behind here. It'll come up in a little bit, but you can see the racing is getting on strong, and Lefevre up on the high side just makes contact with the wall on the exit, and then coming down the straight they just make side-on-side contact, spins Scott Lefevre around, pings him up into the track, and Van Billion has nowhere to go. And, well, that is night over for 3 cars. That was a big old accident, and that is a dramatic early accident for all 3 of those cars. I say that's really going to take all 3 of them out of tonight's race. They will be very lucky if they can get back out there. Van Billion took a fair old whack with that one. So did Carl Needler. So they're really going to be in for a bit of a long waiting time. Sorry, it was Justin Allen, not Van Billion. Justin Allen took the big whack. So yeah, Justin Allen, Scott Lefevre, I think very much their race is over and done with. Carl Needler might be able to get back out there with some serious repairs, but that car is going to be in for a lengthy repair period tonight. And, well, that has really shaken things up.
Well, just watching Carl now, he's been able to get that repairs done and on his way out. Wayne Van Billion is out there still. Justin Allen, that car there, as you can see, Carl, it's very, very damaged.
Yeah, you could take that one to the wreckers and they'd probably turn you away asking for a bit more car to wreck, because there's not much left of that thing now. The whole front end has been ripped off of that, and that's going to be a long old repair bill in the pit lane for that car. That is night over for at least 2 drivers. Will we see anybody else manage to get back out in that one? As I say, it's Carl Needler was the other car caught up in that, and he has got back on track, but a fair bit of damage that needed repairs. So Mark Smith decided to, looks like he just came in and took maybe just right side only. It was stationary for a very short time. Just going to go back and see if that is the case, or if he just took fuel. He just took fuel. So Mark Smith just took fuel on board, whereas I think everybody else took a fresh set of tyres. So this is an interesting little strategy call as we're 25 laps into this race, and that's going to leave Smith with an extra set of tyres. He's going to hope that they cool down and get back to operational use straight away, and he can get this strategy working out here tonight. So, first caution of the night, and we are back out there at the moment. We've got a few cars coming in just for some top-ups of fuel, I think. Ruben Phelps just coming in just for a quick splash and dash. So we got a few different strategies at play here. Quite a few people just coming in for an extra little sip of fuel. So obviously there's a few different strategies at play, and people are working back from the race if we go green. We could see some absolute master plans working out here with this caution. Okay. So we will be continuing on, and we are going to be coming to the green flag very, very shortly, as Mark Smith is going to be leading away. Ryan Jones on his outside. Remember, Mark Smith has not taken any tyres, so he's going to be starting on nice warm tyres here, and he gets away in the restart zone nicely. But that tyre wear will come into play, I'm sure. So let's see how this one folds out. Good restart for Jeremy Sumter. He's managed to get underneath Ryan Jones and move himself into a decent spot. How is this battle going to go? Smithy just getting a little bit tail slidey on the exit. Jones just having to react to that as well. And Sumter takes the lead as Ryan Jones just has to defend a little bit from Nick Bottrell. He's getting a good run off the corner, and now we're starting to see those fresh tyres kicking in. And this is one of the big differences of fresh tyres versus used tyres. You can just see the extra grip level on the exit of the corner. They're just able to put down a little bit more speed.
Yeah, definitely doesn't help on the restart and the first couple of laps of the stint. The used tyres may catch up again once once they get back up to temp, but we can see that anyone normally that takes tyres will get a great advantage from the restart and early in the stint and drive away from those guys on older tyres.
Of course, the beauty about keeping an extra set of tyres up your sleeve is you do have a spare set later in the race. And look, Kansas isn't a place where tyre wear is super bad. It's not going to be like your tyres will have completely fallen off the cliff after 25 laps. You still will be able to keep going. And of course, the nice thing about the caution is you can just get the heat out of the tyres a little bit. You can just let them cool down, and then you can get back to racing. But if you're given the option of fresh tyres or slightly used tyres, you're always going to go fresh tyres because it just gives you so much more confidence, just gives you that little bit more grip on the very exits, and just lets you get that little bit more pace in there. But a long way still to go. 236 laps remaining tonight, so we've still got plenty of action here to come here on Checkered Flag e-streaming for the Aussie Outlaws 2024 Lucas Oil's Cup Car Championship.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, not the numbers where we do have the a 24-hour race. I think it is, Carl, on tonight. So I know a few of the guys are over there running that. But nevertheless, the 18 cars that have turned up here tonight will give us a good show. Only one caution so far, and normally that's about it on these mile and a halves. As normally we get one or two early cautions or one or two late cautions. So we should be in for some good green flag racing now.
Absolutely. We see Kai Turner making a move on Mark Smith there, just getting himself just ahead of Smithy. And, it's see how this strategy unfolds. And, it's not bad taking a little bit of a punt, a little bit of a gamble at this early stage of the race because you've still got a long way to go to recover if it doesn't quite pay off in your favour. So we'll see how that one goes. Up at the front, though, we got Jones, Sumpter, and Williams battling it out for the lead at the moment. Ryan Jones taking the lead, getting himself back up into P1. Sumpter is putting him under pressure, though. And Stevie Dubb is right on the tail. Sumpter just wants to try and keep Jonesy under pressure here so he doesn't build up that gap that he had prior to the caution.
Again, it's Sumter from out of the US that is really keeping these DPR cars honest. But we can see also back here in fourth and fifth, two of the Valve cars of Nick Bottrell there in the orange Valve car, and Jamie Nankervis in the green number 8. So it's good to see those guys out there and up the front again having a good run.
Absolutely. And look, team really coming strong this season. A lot of guys new to oval racing. They are doing a very good job in getting used to it. And looks like a lot more people have got a much better pace at this stage of the race after coming in down the lane. Of course, they can tweak the tyre pressures a little bit and chuck a little bit more bump in there. But the tyre pressures are always the big thing. And looks like quite a few people have just got that car a little bit more set up to their liking in the race pace conditions. Just a little tweak to tyre pressures can make a huge difference in how a race car performs, as we see Sumpter and Williams battling it out side by side here at Kansas, fighting it for position as we come up to lap 37 here. And some good racing out on track at the moment. They are nice and close to each other and keeping themselves in a decent battling position.
Yeah, we can see there Sumpter getting a good run around the outside, and he's gone from second battling with Williams to battling now for the lead with Jones.
Really nice run off the top. He's taking that slightly higher line, and that gives him a really, really good exit off the corner, and just gives you that a little bit more pace down the straights, and he's taking advantage of that one. Sumpter, the number 52, moving up into the lead of the race, and Jonesy just dropping back a little bit here. Probably just, again, taking it a little bit easy in the early stages, not wanting to push too hard, get too much wear or heat into those tyres. He's just taking it a little bit easier, and then we'll see if he can pull it back to Sumpter latterly here. But Sumpter's car looking a lot more stable now, looking a lot more planted, a lot more settled after that pit stop. In that initial run, he had some really, really good early pace, but just started to drop off a little bit as the run was going in. So he's definitely got a little bit more better longer running pace here, and is looking a lot more settled in that car. So good to see there from Sumpter as we get across the line. 40 laps into this race, 227 to go, and it is Jeremy Sumpter up in the lead, Ryan Jones in second, Nick Bottrell in third position now. Bottrell making a move past Stevie Dubb, and we've got the Valve cars working their way up through the field too.
Yeah, it's good to see those Valve cars starting to come to life. They do a lot of midweek testing and different things, but you can never get the exact same race conditions as you do on race night. So it's good to see those guys in there and having a real good go. It's Chevrolet versus Toyota at the moment. Kai Turner there sitting in sixth with Tom Williams for one of the other Valve V cars there in seventh. Jarrett Williams in eighth. Wayne Van Buyen there, one of our Kiwi drivers running in ninth. Mark Smith has dropped all the way back down to the 10th position, but he will be looking at moving forward later in the stage. Carl Needler has been able to get that car repaired and back out there and running 11th. Norman Clark back there in 12th. Ruben Phelps in 13th. Tristan Koch there in 14th. Andrew Dyson running in 15th. And Justin Allen still in pit lane getting that car repaired. But I doubt it very much whether we're going to see that car back out, as you can see from the damage there from the TV shot. Very heavily damaged still.
I just get the feeling that the Norman Clark, Ruben Phelps, Andrew Dyson, Tristan Koch, they're all just running at a fairly easy pace at the moment, and I wonder if they're just in major fuel conservation mode because they're not really taking the fight to the cars in front of them. We know that they've got some decent pace when they're running, so just seems to be in a saving mode at the moment, and just not wanting to push too hard, letting everybody else front have a very busy, entertaining race while they just sit there, keep themselves relaxed, keep themselves calm, have a cup of tea, and then come back at this race latterly and come into play when the final few laps when they matter.
Yeah, that's the way we normally see them do things, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Still a long way to go in this race, Carl. So we'll see how things pan out.
Absolutely, 222 laps to go. In fact, so plenty of action still to come. And big shame to have lost Scott Lefevre and out of this race, and we've lost Derek Jacobs as well, unfortunately too. So we've lost a couple of cars in this race. Justin Allen still in there for lengthy repairs, and look, if that team can get that car back out on track, it will be a miracle, and possibly prove that they're using caromancy to revive the car. So we might have to go witch hunting, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. So we can just see the difference here between some speeds and the gearing. Everyone seems to be running the fifth gear tonight. Where we see on some of the shorter tracks, some of the guys stay in fourth gear, but it looks like everyone's running out to the to fifth gear.
Yeah, definitely on this style of track, you're probably going to keep it in fifth gear. You don't really want to go shifting too much because you're carrying a lot of speed into the corner and through the midsection of the corner as well. And almost you're carrying too much speed to drop it down into fourth. You might find later, if we get a really long green stint period, we might see a couple of drivers dropping it down into fourth. Just as the tyres really start to wear off. But Ryan Jones has just got a massive run on Sumpter coming through the final corner, makes a huge run on him and gets himself up back into the lead of the race. But yeah, you're not really going to be looking at changing gears here too much, because if you downshift and you've got too many revs, it's just going to end up locking up the rears and spinning you through. So you generally keep it in fifth. It keeps the fuel mileage a little bit better. You know, the RPMs are not going to be dropping down low enough to start bogging, and you can really just keep it going. Sumpter having a bit of a run back at Jonesy now. So we've got a good fight for the lead going on here as we are on lap number 50. These two absolutely dicing it out. Sumpter very much happy on that high line. Jonesy much happier on that low line, and we've got two different styles of driving going on. Jonesy looking to slide it up in front of Sumpter, just didn't quite have the gap there. The looks like the spotter just said to him, "Not right now, just a second." Just did not quite have the gap needed to get himself up there, but he did the right thing. Just gave that a little bit of room. And unfortunately, he's just lost that position. So Sumpter doing a very good job of defending there and getting himself back up into the lead with a little bit of attacking too. Which in the transmission for a moment or two. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, as we just fix the car sound, get the car audio back up and running. We apologise about the technical issues tonight, but we should hopefully be back with everything fully working with you soon. And we are back now with some car audio sounds, and the race up the front is still going on between Sumpter and Jonesy. These two still battling it out up in the front, still fighting it out for the lead, and Sumpter still just keeping himself out ahead, running that high line to perfection at the moment. Jonesy is trying for the slide job, see if he can get himself up into that position. Sumpter just defending each time, and not allowing Jonesy to have the perfect run out of the corner. This is some really good racing going on at the moment, and we are getting some great action here at Kansas for this round number 12 of the championship.
Yeah, these three guys are really taking it to each other. But we see Nick Bottrell and Jamie Nankervis sitting there just biding their time and waiting, doing the right thing. Tom Williams sitting in the back there in 6th. So it's good racing. We've definitely seen Sumpter from inside lane productions really start to take it to these DPR cars every week now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been good to see some different challenges coming in as well. And, it's always good to see new names coming in and actually taking it to some of the experienced guys in the season, because, the only way you get better at racing is to have competition. And just having that little bit of extra competition really makes for, well, first of all, it makes the racing more interesting, but it also helps everybody improve as well, because they learn new little things as the race continues, and they learn a little bit of different aspects to it, and it really just helps everybody improve throughout the series. We'll make sure to get our timing bar back up shortly as well to show you the rest of the field. We have had a car coming into pit lane in Kai Turner, and I wonder if that is a scheduled stop or if that is a bit of an emergency one, because does not seem to be coming out of the lane. Looks like it may have been a unscheduled stop, and might be Kai Turner out of the race, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Hopefully everything okay there, but a shame to see another car dropping out early on. Looks like we also lost Carl Needler as well. So a few cars out in this race now, unfortunately. But we've still got some great racing up at the front between Sumpter and Jones. And then just behind them, of course, you've got Stevie Dubb, Nick Bottrell and Jamie Nankervis, all keeping them honest here. Any little mistake from these top drivers, and they're going to find themselves dropping back to about 5th position very, very quickly. There's not much separating the top 5 at the moment. In fact, there's less than a second separating them. So very close racing here out the front here at Kansas.
Yeah, definitely. And I was talking to Nankervis through the week just to find out what's been the go the last couple of weeks. with their setups. And he said what's been happening is that early in the stage, they just can't seem to keep with these faster guys at the front. But later on in the stage, towards the end of the fuel burn, they have rocket ships. So they've been working on their early stint setup. So we'll see how that goes tonight. And it seems to have worked a little bit. They're just off the pace, but is that a ploy to just let everyone think that they are it's still got that same issue, because we can see here Bottrell now really giving it to those DPR cars and sitting right on their tail, getting right up close and just dropping off again.
Yeah, they're into that latter stage of the stint now. They're into about 40 laps into a stint here, and they've always had good long run pace, and that's is where it's going to start kicking in, and definitely is kicking in at the moment. And they are starting to put the DPR cars under pressure. Sumter, though, doing a fantastic job out front, leading this race and keeping himself up in front, and he's just been very happy to run that high line all race long, and just really comfortable up there. While a couple of other drivers just tend to be running the slightly lower line, and it's always a matter of preference of who can get what working. You know, it's one of those tracks where you can sort of run a couple of different lines, and you can get a couple of different sort of lines working here. They both have their strengths, they both have their weaknesses. But at the moment, Sumter's line is looking pretty darn strong, and he's just able to keep the speed in the car as well, which is crucial. But Ryan Jones will be watching and thinking about what he needs to do, thinking about his attack as well. When will he start trying to put some pressure on? Will he try and come in the pit lane a little bit early, try and get an undercut on Sumter here, see if that could work too? So still lots of thinking going on these drivers' heads as they come up to Tristan Koch now and look to put the number 550 down a lap here, as Tristan Koch just keeps himself down nice and low, gets himself out the way, and doesn't battle the leaders too hard to stay on the lead lap.
Good driving there by Tristan. He would have communicated with the leaders and asked them where they would want him, and they told him to stay low, and because their preferred line at the moment is at mid to high track. As you can see, those two DPR cars running, as I say that, they move to the low line. Oh, Carl, they definitely can hear us, I'm sure of it.
They've been favouring that low line all race long, though, Mark. I mean, I think with Tristan there, they just had to take a slightly different line for a couple of laps, and they just did not favour it. So looks like they've got themselves back onto their preferred line and got themselves back into this race. Speaking of cars back into this race, the number 6 has been resurrected. We have got Justin Allen driving the, you've got to say that the Lazarus car. It has been resurrected from death and brought back out on track. Great job by the team getting that thing back out on track, because it was looking it was looking like we wouldn't see it again tonight. But Justin Allen has sat there and he's managed to get back out on track, and well, he's going to be able to get himself a handful of positions. He's 44 laps down, but he's still going to be able to get himself a fair few positions up. And if we see a couple of other big incidents, then we will see some other people dropping it down behind him too.
Yeah, definitely right. And he's also looking at the team points for the team championship. So good to see him stick around and get back out there. That means that team will have two cars take points from tonight's race.
Absolutely, and I was just saying, Kai Turner, unfortunately, he had the dreaded knock on the door coming during a race, and unfortunately had to pull out of the race due to that. So one of the perils of sim racing, Mark, that you don't get in Full Metal Racing. You don't have door-to-door salesmen coming up next to your car, knocking on your car door and disturbing you as you're driving a race. Unfortunately, when you're a sim racer, that kind of peril can befall you, and it looks like that's what happened and to Kai Turner tonight, but hopefully we'll see him back out on track next time out. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ryan Jones is starting to put Sumter under pressure. These two have broken out from the rest of that pack now. They've built up about a 1 second lead over Stevie Dubb, and they are starting to put the hammer down. And Ryan Jones now taking that high line, starting to try and get an idea of where he's going to try and put the pressure on Sumter, seeing where he can make the move. He goes back down low here in 1 and 2. Will we see him take the high line through 3 and 4 again? That's where he seems to be favouring it, trying to get the run off the corner. So it looks like he's trying to get the run off of 3 and 4, try and get the run into 1 and 2, and then just try a bit of a slide job up in front of Sumter. So he's got a bit of a plan of attack going on here. How will it fold out? We'll find out. Stevie Dubb, meanwhile, battling with Jamie Nankervis, the two mean green machines out on track with each other, fighting for position at the moment, side by side, battling it out for a spot. And it looks like Jamie Nankervis has managed to just edge himself ahead of Stevie Dubb, slides it down and gets himself a position. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ryan Jones is making the move on Sumter. He tries for the slide job up underneath him, tries to slip it up in front of Sumter. They make a little bit of contact on the exit. They are banging doors now. The race is on for the lead, and we have got full contact action now heading in to lap 74.
Yeah, some great action both for first and second, and also for third and fourth. And we can see Sumter get a great run on the inside and takes the lead back. So Jonesy had the lead there for about half a lap, but Sumter definitely got this track worked out. We see again Jonesy really taking a swipe at Sumter, and went to go low, but Sumter moved down to block that move.
Now Jonesy back down on the low line. This is the preferred line for him through 1 and 2. He's going to slide up. They make contact, heavy contact between the two. It's heavy contact for Jonesy. He manages to save it somehow. That was one heck of a save there for Ryan Jones. A little bit of net code in that one, as well as the door-on-door contact. They definitely made contact with each other, but it was made a little bit worse due to net code. Great save there from the number 11, Ryan Jones, but that will have taken a little bit of heat into the tyres and just cost him a bit of momentum. So that will have settled the battle for the front for a couple of laps at least. As he just gives the wall a little rub there as well.
Let's hope it hasn't done any steering damage, because some knocks like that can put the alignment out. So just have to wait and see. Back further. We see now Bottrell having a real good crack at Stevie Dubb now for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, these valve cars definitely got some good long run pace in them, and they are coming alive now in this stage of the race, setting some good lap times as well. So they are doing some good pace here, and definitely looking good at this stage of the race. We had Tristan Koch into the lane. He is stationary for a bit longer as well, so he's coming out now, and he has had his service. So looks like Tristan Koch is first of the cars to make a pit stop here, about 50 laps into the stint. So when will we see the rest of the field coming down the lane, as Mark Smith just drops down a lap here? So that gamble of staying out on the tyres has not really paid off for Mark Smith, and he's just lost a lap here. So unfortunate there for Mark Smith, but still a long way in this race to go. And he's going to hope that he can come back good latterly in this one, as we are 79 laps in, almost 80 laps into this race. 188 laps to go tonight here for the Aussie Outlaws Cup Championship, brought to you by Lucas Oils Australia.
Yeah, just looking at that Mark Smith car. Paul Drady's missing tonight. He's actually in Sydney with some real world racing that he's committed to at Sydney International Raceway at Eastern Creek there. The Drags are a big meeting up there in Sydney. So we wish his team all the best up there in Sydney, and let's hope they can get a real world win for the team. Oh, Mark Smith into the wall.
Quite a few drivers giving that wall a little rub here now as this race goes on, and just showing that these cars are starting to get a little bit tricky to drive at this stage of the race. They are starting to get a little bit worn, tyres are starting to get a little bit worn out, especially the front tyres. This is the stage of the race where you just got to really keep going on, and it's never fun when those front tyres get a little bit worn or a little bit too hot and the car just understeers like an oil tanker. It does not want to steer. If you can sort of keep the fronts alive and drive it off the rear, that's what you need to do. But this modern Cup car doesn't quite drive like the older generations. You can't really drive it off the rear as you would the previous generations of cars because of that big diffuser underneath it, because of that aero grip at the rear. These things hug the floor a little bit more, and it means you just sort of get a bit more grip at the rear, and you can't slide it as much. And that really does affect some drivers and their driving style, because it very much was a valid tactic in years gone by to almost drive the car off the rear and just leave the front tyres there just to hold you onto the road.
It's amazing how the cars change. Even year to year, they just change ever so slightly, and sometimes you think, geez, why do these things keep pushing the way they do? And it's just because of the subtle changes that are made.
Yeah, little tiny changes can have such a big effect on a race car. And the NASCARs, they're not the most advanced looking machinery in the world. You look at them and you just think, well, there's nothing really going on with them. They're just a body with a big engine underneath, but they have a lot of aero in them these days, and they have a lot of different aerodynamic effects working in them as well. And that really has changed from previous generations of cars. And these little things make a big difference, and we're starting to see something now taking a lower line here. So he's obviously got to the stage where that high line is a little bit too risque. And I wonder if he's coming into the lane here, because he is really, really lifting off, and he is indeed coming into the lane. So Sumter coming into the lane, Jonesy coming into the lane. Ryan Jones absolutely last minute on the brakes, caught Sumter out there and gained a huge amount of time. Ryan Jones absolutely nailing the pit entry there and giving himself all of that time back that he lost with that little half spin.
Yeah, this is different because we're under caution.
We are, and Sumter just bailing out of that pit stop as we've got Justin Allen and Jared Williams facing slightly wrong direction in the car. Justin Allen is, after all of that hard work getting repaired, is just in the wars again, as Jared Williams coming into the lane, he just took a little bit too much onto the curb, onto the apron, and spun it around, and that's brought out the caution here. And that was pretty much perfect timing for Jamie Nankervis. Jamie Nankervis, Stevie Dubb, Nick Bottrell, all of those guys absolutely in the right place at the right time. You can see Justin Allen just taking avoiding action there, just trying to get out the way, just trying to save it, and he just got caught up with that one. And, well, that one was painful indeed.
So they're now all back in the pit lane, as we can see in our live pictures from our pit lane cam. Everyone's taking 4 tyres.
So this is quite interesting because it's really shaking things up. We can see Sumter coming out there. He decided to abort his stop and go around, so he didn't lose a lap effectively. He wanted to stay on the back of this lead pack. He didn't want to get himself in a position where he was sort of needing the wave around or anything like that. But going out there, he didn't have enough fuel to make it round another lap or so. So he had to come into the lane, and that has completely buggered that pit stop up for him. Meanwhile, Mark Smith. What has happened to Mark Smith? He's got a puncture. Mark Smith has got a puncture, I reckon. And just trying to figure out what happened to Mark Smith. And I think his tyres are just gone on him. Definitely a bit of an odd round. And I noticed that he had the meatball next to his name. So don't know what quite happened there, but he stayed out. Remember, well, he didn't take tyres in that first stop, so maybe he just took those tyres a little bit too long, and ended up giving him a bit of a puncture. So that's crucial information for drivers to know. Do not double stint it because the tyres do not look like they're going to make it.
Yeah, well, he did 65 laps on those tyres, so
well, no, he did 89 laps. He did 89 laps.
Yes, sorry, 89. Yes.
Yeah, so that's a bit of interesting information, and well, as I said, we've got quite a few. This is really shaking up the field a bit because Ryan Jones, he's right at the back of this pack now. He's having to get the wave around, so he's going to be sitting there in a bit of an awkward position. Jeremy Sumter's now down a lap, so he's lost a lap in all of this. So our two race leaders are now really falling out of position, and it looks like we may have also lost Ruben Phelps from this race, unfortunately. Looks like some kind of connectivity issue for Ruben, and we may have lost him from the race in the 06, but we have everybody lining up now, ready for the restart. And we are going to be going back to green flag racing here. 177 laps remaining here at Canvas.
So the lights are out on the pace car, so we will go green this time by. And this has worked out well for Dyson, now up in the 6th position.
Yeah, this has very much fallen into the favour of a couple of drivers here, and we can see they are getting away, and it's Jamie Nankervis in the lead. He leads them away and gets us back to green flag racing here, and Stevie Dubb just behind them. So we've only got 8 cars on the lead lap now, as well as quite a few drivers got caught out with that caution, and it's caught them a lap down. Unfortunately, some of those early stoppers really did not favour them. So that caution came out just at the wrong time for many, but just at the right time for some. Up at the front, though, Stevie Dubb's getting a huge run on Jamie Nankervis. And then we have 3 wide action behind them. They are very much into race mode now as we get underway here. And I think a few drivers are just wanting to get some positions back. I think Sumter is wanting to get himself back on the lead lap, or at least keep himself in that lucky dog position. We know that car has got some incredible pace tonight, but just a bit of bad luck befalling him, and well, we'll see how this one unfolds.
And Stevie Williams has taken the race lead at the moment. Now Nankervis is under a challenge from Dyson. Dyson dives to the low line, and we can see Sumter there right up on the back, and he's got some great speed early on, and so he'll be looking to try and unlap himself there. Luckily for Ryan Jones, he actually got his lap back, and he's now up in the fourth place, coming up to challenge Jamie Nankervis.
Yeah, lucky for Ryan, he got the wave around, so he just got himself back into this race at the critical time. So, was a little bit of good news for Ryan Jones, but he did lose a fair bit of track position from it. But it could have been worse. It could have been Sumpter and losing himself a lap in this race. So it is very much on now for this race. And well, we've got some new contenders. We've got Stevie Dubb up at the front, Andrew Dyson, Jamie Nankervis, and Ryan Jones back up there as well. And well, you've got to say, Ryan Jones has been on a fantastic streak of late as well. Some very good races under his belt and some very strong victories as well. So would not write him off tonight, but he has got a lot of strong competition now around him.
Yeah, it definitely has. And look, I hate to say it, but we definitely Sumter will be looking and hoping for another yellow flag, because it's going to be a hard ask here on the 1.5 Kansas track to get past the leader, which he's done right now. But he's got to drive away from these guys and make up a full lap. And with that little mishap from Stevie Dubb, that has now given Dyson in the 41 Chevrolet the race lead.
Yeah, Jamie Nankervis had a heck of a run on Stevie Dubb there as well, and just didn't quite have the momentum to get past. So they're in some good battling spots at the moment. And well, Andrew Dyson been very quiet all race long. All of a sudden, he gets a sniff, and he is back up there at the front. Jeremy Sumpter getting himself his lap back at the moment, but he either needs to pull away from this pack and make up 30 seconds or get a caution. And what is it with cautions, Mark? They never come when you need one.
No, that's it. We definitely know that by experience, Carl.
Absolutely. You know, if you need a caution, it will never happen. If you're leading a race by, about 20 seconds with only 5 laps to go, and you're sort of going, "Yep, I got this race one," guaranteed a caution will come out just to ruin your day. But that's just how racing works, I guess.
So we'll slip into the lull at the moment. Just no one really doing anything. They'll just be settling in again to try and get this nice long run green flag run. And we can see here now Nankervis battling again with Stevie Williams. Just behind him,
Yeah.
Jones is sitting there on the low line, looking to try and catch into the draft of Williams or Nankervis to pull him up.
Remember that Valve car's got some really good pace as well in the latter stages. We've seen that with that team. They got some really good long run pace. So if Jamie can keep that car up in a strong position and keep that car ahead of Stevie Dubb and Ryan Jones, he could be in for a very strong finish here tonight. Just keeping the gap to Dyson by about 1.5 seconds at the moment. Mark Smith's back in this race as well. We saw him drop down a lap, but he is obviously got the lucky dog, got himself in a good position. We saw him lose a tyre as well, we think, and get that one changed under caution. So he is back in this race with nice fresh tyres. So that long stint with saving an extra set of boots, he's got that up his sleeve now for later in this race. So if we do get a few more cautions, Mark Smith could have an extra set of tyres over everybody else, and that could prove to be crucial.
Yeah, and do remember, Carl, we here at Aussie Outlaws have 3 overtimes. So 3 green, white checker attempts.
Absolutely, and that could be a very, very critical thing if we get to use all 3 of those green-white checkers, expect to see a lot of people staying out and sort of risking it with some older tyres. But if you've got some fresh tyres and you're sort of only sitting down in fourth or fifth position, you may as well come and get them, and you might find yourself with a race victory under your belt because of a bit of extra tyres up your sleeve. Up at the front, it's Andrew Dyson in the lead, the 41, up 14 positions in this race. Had a very, very quiet start of his race, but now is coming alive. He's sitting behind Jeremy Sumpter, who is just on the lead lap at the moment. We saw Sumpter having a really strong race, leading the majority of laps today with Ryan Jones, those two leading most of the laps, but both of them coming into the lane when that caution hit has really cost him track position. Sumpter, of course, he came back out on track and then ran out of fuel, so he got really caught in a terrible spot. So Jeremy Sumpter, the biggest loser in that caution, other than, of course, the two cars that got caught up in the wreck. That was Jared Williams and Justin Allen. Both of those cars back out on track, though. Both of them circulating. Justin Allen has got his rewards card for accident damage filled out tonight, so he's going to get himself a free coffee. But wrong place, wrong time tonight for Justin Allen twice. No fault of his own, just really, really unlucky positioning for him just to take so much damage, but has managed to get it back out on track and has moved himself up into 14th position, so is gaining some of those places back. Jared Williams managed to get the car back out on track as well and repaired. He's down in 12th position at the moment, just 2 laps off the lead. Meanwhile, we've got a good fight for second place as Ryan Jones puts Jamie Nankervis under pressure here as they battle it out for second position. And the yellow and black DPR car, the angry Bumblebee, Mr. Ryan Jones, is putting Jamie Nankervis under pressure at the moment. Doesn't quite have the run this time. Jamie doing a good job of defending. He's taking that higher line again, and we've seen that tonight, but just taking that slightly higher line just gives you a little bit of extra oomph off the corners. Jonesy favouring that lower line, and not really been able to make the pass out on track with too much ease. So I'm sure he will start to think about his attack in the near future again, and then come back for another prod on Jamie Nankervis.
Might jump on board, Carl, with Ryan Jones. Just watch on board how he goes about this and tries to attack Nankervis.
off the corner, just losing the rear a little bit, and that's going to lose him a couple of positions, Mark. Now, I wonder if he's been trying to drive a bit of a different line and it's just worn the tyres a little bit differently, added a little bit of heat in there that he's not been used to previously, and it's just caught him off guard a little bit. Easy to have happen. You know, sometimes you're running a line and you just get very comfortable on it, but then you sort of have those moments where you just change that line a little bit and it all goes wrong from there, and it really catches you out. So one of those things that you just got to sort of keep in mind as you're driving a track like this, and you're sort of going around, especially for one of these longer races, is any little variation of your line, any little change can have dire consequences. It can really change how a car runs through a stint, and that might be just what's happened to Jamie Nankervis here. But the two DPR cars is all right. Jones has a big tail snap there. Just keeps himself ahead of his teammate Stevie Dubb, but any more of that and Stevie Dubb is going to be passing him very soon indeed.
They're very lucky not to be touched either there, and if Jonesy had been touched, we would have seen him spinning, doing 360s down the track.
Yeah, and we would have been seeing the caution flag back out for the third time here tonight as well. As we see Stevie Dubb putting all kinds of pressure on Ryan Jones here, and these two racing hard at the moment. And look, not bad news for these two to be racing each other, because that's going to give Jamie Nankervis a chance to close the gap a little bit and keep himself in touch with these two, as Andrew Dyson's pulled out about a 5-second lead now, 5.7-second lead over Ryan Jones. So up front it is Dyson in the lead. But the battle for second place is definitely on between Jonesy and Williams. Stevie Dubb putting Jonesy under pressure at the moment, and these two fighting it out on track, giving us some good entertainment at the moment. Jeremy Sumpter has just dropped down a lap at the moment. He's still sitting there behind Daiso. He's hoping that if we do get a caution flag, he will be in that lucky dog position. Of course, if he can get past Andrew Dyson and we get a caution, all the better. So he is still putting him under pressure and still showing how much pace he's got in that car, ruining that mistake from earlier. And we see Stevie Dubb making a slide job underneath and slides himself up in front of Jonesy. Jonesy gives him a little bit of a bump from behind, just as Stevie Dubb has slid himself up in front of him. And we got a new person in second place now. Stevie Dubb taking the position over Ryan Jones, and now looking to try and get a little bit of a gap out from him.
All that slipping and sliding that Jones has done, he would have hurt those rear tyres just ever so slightly. So it's no wonder that Williams has been able to get past him and just start to open up a little bit of a gap. But Jones will definitely come back. We have seen him come back fairly strong in the latest stages. Once he can get some heat out of those tyres.
Yeah, he'll definitely be thinking about what to do here. And, well, we've still got a long way in this race to go. Getting a little bit closer to some pit stops, probably about 11 laps or so. We'll start seeing some pit stops happening. About 50, 54 laps, it looks like, fuel mileage for these guys. So it's sort of getting to that stage where we'll start seeing some pit stops very, very shortly, in probably about 10 to 11 laps time. So people are going to start to be thinking about that as well. So the thought processes will start to be worked out, and people will try and work out what they need to do to get themselves to the end of this race with, well, as few pit stops as possible, or of course the least time spent in pit lane as possible. So there'll be a lot of working out going on. Some good battles going on throughout the track as well. Tom Williams and Mark Smith battling it out for position as well. This is for 7th and 8th spot at the moment. And these two fighting it out on position as, oh, Tom Williams gets a big slide coming out of turn number 2 there. Manages to save the car. Nice job from Tom Williams there to keep the car pointing in the right direction, and gets himself up ahead of Mark Smith. Looking to make a move on Van Billion as well now. So, oh, but that's not going to help things out. He gets a big contact with the ball, and that's going to cost Tom Williams not just one chance of overtaking, but it's going to cost him that position to Mark Smith as well. And that is a painful little mistake to make after battling it out and working your way past a car in front, only to see it all slip between your fingers and fall away.
The other person we can see there that we haven't really spoken about, Norman Clark, having a very quiet night, just sitting there in 10th position. 1 lap down, but you can never count him out. He's always thereabouts by the end of the race.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers that got caught out with that caution. He'd made his stop prior and lost himself a lap, unfortunately, and that really cost him in this race. So a bit of a shame for Norman, but he has got every chance to come back in this one. So do not write him off yet. Do not discount him. Seeing Williams again making a bit of a run on Van Billion, and this time gets down the inside. Does he have enough overlap to slide himself up in front of the number 3? He does indeed, and moves himself up into 6th position.
So we see back up the front here, Carl. Stevie Williams has now been able to put a second and a half over Jones. So definitely those tyres of Jones's have been hurt by that sliding around. So we're just going to have to wait and see what he can do after his next pit stop.
Yeah, very much so. It's it's one of the things when you're battling it out and you have a bit of a slide, it just affects you for that whole stint. It's amazing. If you've never raced a car, if you've never raced in sim racing, if you've never driven a race car in that respect, you don't really know how painful it is when you make a little mistake like that, because it just haunts you for the rest of the day. It's like locking up a wheel. And you end up with that vibration for the rest of your life. It's just a horrible, horrible feeling when you know you've had that little mistake, you've had that little slide, you've got too much heat in the tyres, and you're just taking a bit of that life away that gives you that chance to really fight it out in the race. And a simple little mistake like that, or a simple little forced error like that, can really affect you in a long race like this, in a long stint as well.
especially when there's not a whole lot of cars in the race. It really has a bigger effect because you can kind of sort of never make that up. But in saying that, then now we see Jones now close right back up on the back of Williams. So he's been able to give those tyres a bit of a rest and coming back to have another run at Williams now.
Catching is one thing, passing is another. Does he have enough to get himself past the mean green machine, the 98 of Stevie Dubb? He's going to try and run it around the outside. Might see him just chop underneath and try and get the run underneath Stevie Dubb here. No, he's going to stick it up high. And he gets a good run. He's going to get himself up ahead of Stevie Dubb. Very nicely done there from Jonesy. Gets himself up in that position. Now just has to keep himself in that spot, keep the speed going, not allow Stevie Dubb the opportunity to make the move back. Meanwhile, we still got Andrew Dyson in the lead, and he is still keeping himself right in front of Jeremy Sumpter at the moment. These two keeping themselves in position, Sumpter wanting to make sure he's in that lucky dog position at any time that Dyson gets past another driver, and they are just getting past Jared Williams there, who drops down 3 laps now in this race. As Dyson clips the wall there, gives the wall a fairly hefty whack, and that could have been a bit of a dramatic moment as well, because Sumpter was right on his tailpipes.
Oh, and Sumpter touches the wall there.
Yeah, they're both really pushing hard, and well, they're both getting to that stage now where the cars are going to be getting light as well. Won't be long until they start to pull into the lane and get some extra fuel to get them to the next stage of the race. They're about 54 laps into this stint now, 54, 55, 53 laps, depending on the car. So it won't be long until they need to just ease it into the lane to get some fuel for the next stage of this race.
Yeah, if Sumpter would be hoping that Dyson would go in early, so he can try and get a bit of a run back and try and get back onto that lead lap and get half a lap of distance between himself and Dyson. But wherever these guys are battling backwards and forwards, they're both using roughly the same amount of fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of these pulls the pin first.
We have Van Bullion in the lane. So one of the first cars on the lead lap to stop. The number 3 has been in the lane, had his service, and is heading back out onto the track now. So we're starting to see pit stops happening, but when will the leaders pull the plug? That's going to be the main thing. As we see Sumpter actually getting a good run here on Dyson and getting himself his lap back. And look, this is the beauty about oval racing, Mark, isn't it? Is, lapped cars, they don't have to just roll over and submit. They can absolutely race to get themselves back on that lead lap.
Yeah, that's right. It's you can race for your spot back up until you go about 3 laps down. Then we kind of say, hey guys, let's let the leaders race for the race lead, and but even so, if you've got the chance to get back on, pick up a lap, you're more than welcome to get it, so long as you don't cause any wrecks or anything. And Sumpter seems to have found a little bit of speed because he's now got a little gap over Dyson.
Yeah, that car, that 40, what am I, 52? Sorry, the Inside Lane Productions car of Sumter has really got some good pace tonight. Absolutely showing a clean set of heels to Dyson, and just absolutely, I'm sure, kicking himself for that little mistake that dropped him down a lap. Because definitely one of the cars that was battling it out for victory here tonight, and hoping that. Well, can get back on the lead lap in this race. That's going to be the main thing for this one. But I think Sumter might be coming into the lane this time round, very much at that point where he's going to need to come in for fuel. And indeed, Sumter pulls it into the lane for his pit stop. Will we see anybody else coming with him from the front group?
Ryan
Ryan
Jones.
Jones in the lane. So how much further can the rest of these drivers go in this race? We know Dyson is pretty good at saving a bit of fuel as well as going fast. And has he managed to do that tonight? Because he's still circulating out there at some good pace at the moment.
I can tell you now, by the sound of that,
I think he may have just run out of fuel. Because the car sounded like it just switched off for a moment, so I think Dyson took it to about as far as he could take it there. Stevie Dubb coming in as well, Nick Bottrell, Jamie Ann Curvis, Tom Williams has managed to stick it out there and get an extra lap. So Tom Williams and Mark Smith able just to get an extra lap here. This is where driving a nice petrol race car is useful. If you were driving a diesel and you ran it dry like that, you'd be in some serious trouble.
oh, definitely. And we can see there on that shot, Sumter has been able to get his lap back. So it'd be interesting now whether he can stay on that lead lap, because it's going to make a difference if he can stay on that lead lap and drive away from Dyson. It's going to make interesting viewing if we do get another caution.
I'm just looking at the laps and just doing some very quick maths in my head, and well, it looks like most can make it home with just one more stop here. So the guys that are coming in now, Williams and Smith, they're going to be in a good position to make it home on just one more stop without too much worrying about fuel saving, things like that. A couple of the drivers that came in a few laps earlier, they might just be in a little bit more of a conservation mode as this race goes on. So it's going to be interesting to see who has absolutely planned that to perfection and who has just gone a little bit too early. We'll find out soon, I am sure. But as you said, Sumter back on the lead lap. Andrew Dyson now back into the lead of the race. Well, onwards to the next stint, I guess, Mark.
Yeah, definitely right. And we can see there just the race info. 2 cautions for 8 laps, 115 laps to go. 12 lead changes tonight, Carl, with 7 different leaders.
Yeah, good to see quite a decent amount of chopping and changing, and it's seen some good racing up the front tonight as well.
And right at the moment, the fastest lap of the race belongs to Jeremy Sumter at 30.3. So good to see. Even though he's had a bit of a hard time, he will pick up some bonus points if he can retain that fastest lap.
And the race is not over for sure. He is back on the lead lap here, so it's just going to be a long, hard fight to get there without a caution. But we never know. The caution could sneak its way out, and we could see them back in this race. At the moment, Dyson's got a 2-second lead over Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones, with that earlier stop, trying to take advantage of the undercut. Managed to eat into Dyson's lead a little bit, but Dyson had plenty of time to play with and is keeping himself out in the lead of this race. Fastest car on track at the moment is actually Jamie Nankervis, just set the fastest lap of the race as well with a 30.302. Absolutely hustling that car around and was one of the last cars to stop too. So Jamie looking good in this stage of the race and definitely got some speed in that Valve Esports car.
Yeah, definitely right. Just closing up there on the back of Tom Williams. So working well together to try and get around. I don't think Tom would put up too much of a fight if Jamie wants to pass him.
No, they are going along nicely at the moment, and well, we're seeing some good action here on track. And well, if you want a bit more action this week, Checkered Flag eStreaming has got more racing action on Wednesday night, Mark.
Yeah, off to Donington Park for our GT3 racing. Very interesting racing there. 2 classes, Pro and Pro-Am. And it's very tight. Round 4 championship for the everything simulated GT3. Very close in both classes. Only 4 points separate the top 5 in Pro, and even less 3 points between the top 5 in the Pro-Am. So it's a great championship, great thing to see. 45 cars on track last week, so it'd be interesting. But then also again, we're back. You and I are back again on Thursday night for the I believe it's round 1 of the Xfinity cars for Anne's car over on Performance eStreaming.
Yeah, absolutely. We're off to Charlotte on the 23rd of May for the first round of the Thunder, the Anscar Xfinity Series. We are back with that this week, and we also kick off the Legends Series as well on Monday night. If you're looking to race some awesome 1987 cars, first of all, you need to, of course, grow yourself a epic moustache, which I can announce that I have done. I am rocking the moustache ready for that race on Monday. But we are going to be racing at Richmond there in the 87s, of course. And we're hoping to see a few chaps head out for that one because those cars, the Legends car in just such a great NASCAR, it is, taking out the Buick LeSabre for myself on Monday, Mark. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make an appearance at the mobile chicane, and I'll be back in the old Monte Carlo.
That's it. It's great to see the old Oldsmobile, the Sabre, the Monty, and of course the Thunderbird out there. Some absolute awesome legends of yesteryear and the kind of NASCARs that we grew up on, Mark.
Yeah, definitely right. And some of the characters that you got in that era too was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be channeling my inner Dick Trickle. I'm going to have a packet of cigarettes up on my sim rig every time the caution comes out. Light one up, have a smoke. Just try and channel the old school racing driver.
Oh, dearie me. Yep, I can remember that Dick Trickle incident.
Favorite thing about that though was he had to change it. He put, I can't remember if it was Marlboro or Rothmans, because he was racing under a different sponsorship, so he put his brand of cigarettes in his sponsor's packet, so it looks like he was smoking his sponsor's cigarettes while he was smoking the brand that he preferred. Absolute legends. That's the kind of NASCAR that we love, the kind of stories that we love. But yeah, looking forward to seeing those cars out on track and looking forward to seeing you all for more action next week. And then on Saturday, we're heading off to... Where are we heading off to?
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember myself now.
Yeah. I had it in my mind just as I started speaking, and then it went straight out.
Darlington.
That's the one.
Darlington next Saturday night, so be interesting. We've seen some interesting races there in the past, but the following weekend, the 1st of June, I'll get that in there. Memorial Day. That sees the return of the 600-mile race, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a very special one indeed, and we look forward to seeing some extra drivers out for that one, and look forward to broadcasting that one as well on a very, very special day for our stateside compatriots.
Yeah, definitely right there. So we still have a race going here, coming down to now 100 laps to go, and we still see Andrew Dyson. Don't say anything; he'll kill me for that. Andrew Dyson there out in the race lead. Jones now into second place, so good to see him have a good recovery. Third is Stevie Williams. Fourth, Nick Bottrell. Fifth, Tom Williams, still followed very closely by Jamie Nankervis there in those two VLV cars. Wayne Van Buren, great to see him up there in seventh place. So good to see the Mustang out there running around. And our only American left in the field, Jerry Sumter, now being able to get back up into the top 10th, and now actually just takes 7th place away from Van Buren. Mark Smith in the Lucas Oil back car, 1 lap down in 9th position. Norman Clark there in the 09. He's actually 2 laps down and rounds out the top 10. Tristan Koch there in 11th, 2 laps down. Jarrett Williams, the last of the Valve sports car, in 4th place. And the man, the hard luck award has to go to Justin Allen. He's been able to get that car repaired, sitting in 13th position. Unlucky for some, but definitely lucky for him tonight. We've been able to get that car back 52 laps down. So great work to see him back out there rotating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see him back out on track, because that was a heavy old whack and never fun when things like that happen. So as we tick down, we've just got 96 laps remaining here. So everybody's now just eking out the fuel to the next stop and wanting to get themselves to that crucial lap, making it to about 60 laps to go, 65 laps to go. They need to sort of get to that point so they can make it home on one more tank of fuel, of course.
Just wondering if we see anyone come in early, Carl, top off and do that 62 laps. So be interesting to see who will decide to try and do that. If they do, it's about 30 laps remaining for the guys to make a stop.
Yeah, it's going to be a crucial one to get to that stage. You know, if they're just a lap or two shy, you can sort of eke out the fuel a little bit, try and save, but it's going to be a long old last stint and going to leave you very open to cars behind you. So they're going to be really trying their hardest to make sure they get to a point where they can get it done without too much hassle to the end.
So the top three are spread out a little bit now. Uh, there's Dyson there, and 1.2 seconds back to Jones, who is closing ever so slightly. Then a further 5 seconds back down the track is Stevie Williams in third. A further 10 seconds behind Stevie Williams is the 225 and Nick Bottrell. And Tom Williams is a further 2 seconds. And then we can see sixth place right there behind a Bottrell in Jamie Nankervis. Jerry Sumter a further 2 seconds behind excuse me, Nankervis. So he's slowly working his way back through the field, but he's got to really get some great laps in to try and get back up. But by the looks of it from that shot, that's Dyson closing in on the back of Sumter. So let's hope he doesn't end up going a lap down towards the end of this race.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of keeping himself there, but he has got that little bit of tyre deficit. Dyson stayed out a bit longer, so he's got slightly fresher tyres. He's got a little bit more fuel to play with. Sumter, of course, has to just save a little bit here and there as well. So, you know, these little things are just in there that's just not helping Sumter to this final part of the race. But what he needs is a caution. He desperately needs a caution, and as the race goes on, it's less and less likely to happen.
Yeah, look, I don't think we're going to see a caution. If we do, it's going to be from a touch or a rub the wrong way. But the guys are pretty well spread out, so you know, it's I can't really see being into the fence hard there as we ride on board with him. Saying that, we are starting to see some of these cars get a bit hard to drive again.
Yeah, and you know, you're also getting into that stage where fatigue kicks in a little bit. You're getting long into this race. You're getting uncomfortable in your rig. You know, a lot of these guys are just sort of getting. You start getting cramps appearing, and you also often need to go to the toilet as well. And that's never a fun thing to be driving around. Sort of hunched over in a sim rig, pressing on your bladder. You know, that's something we often talk about is just needing the bathroom, but it is a common issue in sim racing, and it just leaves you a little bit sort of distracted as the race goes on. And at this stage of the race, this is where that distraction can really kick in.
100%, Carl.
So we see Ryan Jones there. He's got Jamie Nankervis, or is it Norman Clark? Norman Clark right on his tail. So Norman Clark getting some good speed in this stage of the race, although he is 2 laps down. It's been a bit of a tough race for Norman. He got caught with that earlier caution, but has shown that there's good pace in the car, and that's good news for the team. You know, they'll find that encouraging that they have definitely got some good pace underneath them.
Yeah, well, Norman's been able to work his way up into the top 10, so good to see him get another good result. He secured into the playoffs with his race win earlier on, so in the season. So it's good to see 2 of the Valve cars in there, and we do have 3 of the DPR team in there. So it's going to be again continued on into the playoffs to see the dominating team.
Very much so. Well, 85 laps to go. We are getting to that stage where drivers are counting down the laps and also making sure that they can get to that crucial lap to get them home on. That's going to be an all-important one, just so they can make it home on the tank of gas that they need. And we've got 7 cars on the lead lap. Jerry Sumter, Jamie Nankervis, Tom Williams, Nick Bottrell, Stevie Dubb, Ryan Jones, and Andrew Dyson, of course, our leader. And well, it's it's just sort of getting into that rhythm now towards the end. But this is, as you know, Mark, where the mistakes could really creep in.
Yeah, 100% correct. It's starting, as you said earlier on, just a few minutes ago. We're now into um, just over 2 hours, 2.5 hours that some of these guys have been sitting in their rigs for, and the toilet break. We've probably got another 40 minutes maximum, providing we go green all the way, or not even that, just before they can get a break and get out and stretch their legs.
Yeah, they don't have the luxury of being able to stand up and stretch like us up here in the broadcast booth, which is, something that is useful about being a broadcaster. Is we get to relax a little bit, enjoy a drink, have a bit of a sit back, get some bits and bobs done as we continue on with the race. Just saw Tristan Koch coming in. He's coming in a little bit early, so he's going to have to make another stop from here. So not an ideal time for Koch to come into the lane. So we've seen a couple of mistakes tonight, Mark, but nothing too serious, and that's good to see. A lot of these drivers out here, when you've got a slightly smaller field, you tend to have a few less cautions, a few less mistakes out on track, and we're seeing that again tonight. Everybody driving extremely well and behaving themselves out on track. And we're just seeing as well, Jeremy Sumpter, he's caught up to the back of Jamie Nankervis here, and Tom Williams. So this is a battle for position right now. This is the fight for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, that's right, and not far behind them is the race leader. So it'd be interesting now to see what happens. We have seen Nankervis late in the stages get very tail and happy, and we can see both of them there, Nankervis and Sumpter, just touch the wall ever so slightly. Sumpter now has a run on Nankervis on the inside. Can he get that job done? Very close to touching as he came up.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tight squeeze, so a bit of a deep breath going in there for sure.
So again, we'll just have a quick look out of the front window, and we can see that group of Sumpter, Williams, and Nankervis just in front of Williams now. In front of Dyson. So Dyson is closing in on these guys rather quickly.
Yeah, it's sort of been at this sort of range to Sumpter for a long time now, so the gap isn't closing at all that vast rate of knots. I think Dyson, as he just gives the wall a little rub there, I think he's just in sort of just cruise mode at the moment. He's not pushing too hard because he's just sort of keeping himself at a decent pace and not using too much fuel.
I think he'll stay out as long as he can and just come in for a splash. I don't know even if he'll change tyres. But we have seen what happens if you try and run too long on a set of tyres, with Mark Smith having those tyres go on him.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's worth not changing tyres at this stage. Definitely will be swapping tyres because you're going to be stationary for a full tank of gas as well, Mark. So you're not going to save anything by not changing tyres. Now that's always the thing you sort of need to work out as you're doing this kind of thing is, is it going to save you any time? Is it going to save you any? Is it worth not changing them? Because the amount of time you're going to lose by not changing them, well, the amount of time you're going to gain by not changing them, you're going to lose by getting the fuel on board, and then when you come back out, you're going to lose even more time because the people behind you are going to catch up on those fresh tires, and you're going to have nothing to fight against them with.
But if we get a caution here now, everything changes.
Absolutely, a caution right now would really spice things up, as they wouldn't be able to get home from here, so they would need to make a quick splash and dash. So it would really, really either A, cause a fuel conservation race where everybody drives at a very, very soft pace, or B, we've got Jeremy Sumter around.
Just seen him down on that. Looks like maybe Nick Bottrell and Sumter as we jump to the replay.
So Sumter's just had the rear step out after overtaking Nick Bottrell. He's had a big snap going through turn number 2, just on the exit here. Watch the back end of that car. Steps out, skins around, goes up into the wall, pings it heavily into the wall. Bottrell nowhere to go in that situation, just gave him a little rub as well. But Sumter, well, that's probably race over for Sumter. That was a heavy amount of damage, and that is going to be a long old repair for that car with so few laps remaining, and that's a shame for one of the fastest cars out here tonight.
Yeah, definitely we can see there as he rolls around in the pit lane, that right front definitely not facing the right way. And unfortunately, he's decided to take that behind the wall. So that's not over for Sumter. Again, not a great night for him. He's not had the best of seasons so far since joining the league. A couple of unfortunate mistakes and unfortunate incidents where he's been the innocent party. But that has given Nankervis a jump up now in the 4th place.
Yeah, taking a little bit of pressure off the Valve cars for sure. And, well, that has taken a big scalp out of the race, unfortunately. Santo was one of the few cars that was taking it to the DPR crew before the cautions. And, well, that's had a big knock-on, unfortunately. A big shame for Sumter with that little snap. But it just shows how easily it happens, Mark. You can be in a good position or you can be in a bad position, but if you have that little snap in the wrong place and it just catches you off guard, you're going to find yourself in serious trouble very, very quickly.
Yeah, 100% correct, Carl. And we have seen at the cars when they get down here, as we've seen, Sumter was on around that 47 laps on that stint, and they really do start to get taily around that area.
Yeah, and it's the thing of, as the fuel tank lightens up, that was a bit of a sketchy moment for Dyson as he was just getting past one of the, I think that was Justin Allen. He just got too tight going through the corner and just ran out of steering and almost went up into Justin Allen. No fault of Justin Allen. He was keeping up there out the way to let the leaders pass. But Dyson just got really tight on the exit. And look, that's something that happens in this Next Gen Cup car as well, is because of the aero. When you get behind a car in front of you, all of a sudden, the aero just gets taken away. And you lose grip and you lose drive, and you just have the car just washing up the track. And it's almost like driving a single seater or driving a more aerodynamic dependent car. You know, when you get in the dirty air of the car in front, all of a sudden it just changes how it behaves, and it catches you off guard sometimes.
Yeah, 100%, and we have seen that right throughout the since this next gen's come in, the aero wash. Um, uh, we talk about it. Apparently, there are changes coming to the car next year, so it's a matter of just wait and see what NASCAR does to these cars for next season. Um, but unfortunately, right at the moment, we are stuck with what we have. And we have a battle here now for second place. Williams has actually been able to get past Jones, so it's now still DPR 1, 2, 3, but just in a different order. With Williams now up in the second, sorry, and Jones back to fourth.
Yeah, we've seen this from Stevie W. He's got some very good long run pace, it seems, and just at the end of the runs, he's just able just to get past Jonesy. So we see it once more, and good little battle between these two. And as always with DPR, they do tend to battle each other pretty hard on track. They don't like to make it easy for each other, but they also race each other very, very well.
Yeah, look, we've seen that over in Ann's car, and also here in the Aussie Outlaws. This is one team that will fight right to the end of the race. Sometimes it doesn't always work out for them, and as we can see, Stevie Williams drops down in the pit lane. Same with Jones. So, touch.
And that is not good news for either of them, as I reckon that will have just poshed them over the speed, and that could well be a double penalty in the lane, because Jonesy absolutely coming in at a vast rate of knots. It just got caught off guard though, because Stevie Dub was just slowing it down, and I reckon that will have got them both a penalty. Let's see if that is the case. They're going up on the lefts, going up on the rights, getting the fuel in, but will they pull away instantly, or will they have to sit there for a long time? And they're having to sit there for a long time, both those cars getting a stop go penalty, so they are being held in the lane, and that could be a chance for somebody like Jamie Nankervis to close the gap on these two. So that could be some good news as Dyson pulls it into the lane now and is coming in for his stop.
Don't think Nankervis realises, if I was him, I'd be getting into the lane now, taking that set of tyres. We can see Stevie Williams and Jones now just leaving.
Well, we also had Jared Williams off the track as well. I just caught that off the corner of my eye. He's just had a moment coming in, I think he's possibly looking to try and come in, or he's made a little mistake because he was right down on the apron, and he just caught the groove of the track, and it's just spun him around. Luckily, did not bring out the caution, but that's interesting. So this could be a good option for Nankervis now when he makes his stop, because both Jones and Williams, they were held in the lane for about 40 seconds. So they had to serve 40 seconds there stationary. So Nankervis is in a good spot to jump them should he come into the lane very, very shortly. And this is a good option for him as he does bring it in now.
I was going to say he has to pit this time by. Oh, has he been able to pull it up?
I reckon he has got himself a penalty too, because he just caught the apron and it just did not slow down in time. He was all crossed up coming into the lane, and that is going to be a pit lane speeding penalty, I reckon, for Jamie Nankervis as well. So that advantage that he would have gained has all been lost due to a little mistake coming into the lane.
We've got the cameras on him. He's up on the lefts. He's off the jacks, and he has been held. He has been given a penalty. Now, this leaves Tom Williams in second place. So he's now down pit lane.
So will Tom Williams be able to get it out in front of Jones and Stevie Dubb? And I think he might be in some luck here because they lost an awful amount of time. And this has really shaken up the podium positions in this race. Leader still is Andrew Dyson, of course. He absolutely nailed his pit stop, and now he is on a mission out on track. Fastest lap after fastest lap. 30.192 for Dyson this time round. So Andrew Dyson has decided it's time to go fast, and he is showing his ultimate pace. But he is out there now. Nick Bottrell has worked his way up into second position after that with a slightly earlier stop. So he's used those slightly fresher tyres to an advantage. And Tom Williams comes out in third position. Mark Smith now sits in fourth. So that was a massive mistake coming into the lane for the two DPR drivers. Ryan Jones just catching the back of Stevie Dubb. And, well, that mistake has absolutely really thrown them down in this race. They're going to have to get the way back up there the hard way. And they're doing it at the moment as Stevie Dubb makes a move on Mark Smith.
Yeah, Stevie Williams, you can never count him out. So there's still plenty of laps left in this race. Unfortunately now, Nankervis' race is done. He's now 2 laps down, so he's not going to get back onto the lead lap at all. So it's going to be Bottrell and Tom Williams for the Valve Esports car to take the battle to the DPR cars. Stevie Williams now up in the third place. Jones is still behind Mark Smith in sixth.
They're going to have to do it the hard way to get back up on the podium. And, well, can they do it with 50 laps remaining? That's going to be the question as Ryan Jones looks to make the move on Mark Smith here. And, well, they've got to catch some cars, but catching is one thing, passing is another. So it's not going to be easy from here. Stevie Dubb, though, he's got a wiggle on at the moment. He just set the fastest lap of the race, and he is setting some very fast times as well. He's the first driver to get it down in the 30 deads, a 30.089. So Stevie Dubb has got the bit between his teeth now and is absolutely flying in the 98.
He's 2 seconds behind Tom Williams, sitting in third place. So, it's good. As I said, there's still plenty of laps, and with those types of times, Carl, we should see Stevie Dubb close in reasonably quick. And we just jumped on board with Williams now.
You can see he's actually dropping it down into fourth and really keeping the revs up at the moment. He is really driving the wheels off of that thing and is in full attack mode.
He's only jumping into the fifth gear for that split second. Back down the fourth through the turns, down through the tri-oval. But you can see it's definitely working because he is catching those two Valve cars in front of him.
And this is the beauty about just stopping a little bit later. He doesn't have too much to worry about fuel. He knows he can get to the end of the race. So he's not needing to conserve anything at the moment. So he is going full throttle now and using up every last litre of fuel in that tank. So 45 laps remaining here tonight, and it is still Dyson up in the lead. He is chugging along at a vast rate of knots and just keeping the car there. He's got a 31-second lead over Nick Bottrell at the moment in second position. Nick Bottrell then sits just a bit ahead of Tom Williams down in third spot, with the hard-charging Stevie Dubb behind him, absolutely flying at the moment, trying to close that gap down and get himself back on the podium here tonight. Ryan Jones sits in fifth position. Then it's Mark Smith down in sixth position, up a nice handful of spots from his starting spot. And did I just see a car pointing in the wrong direction? I think I did. Tristan Koch just having a little moment coming into the lane. Just had to abandon his pit entry, but no harm, no foul. He's just got back out on track. Thought I'd noticed something just a little bit odd there. Where was I? Wayne Van Billion in seventh position. Next up, we have Norman Clark, or I should say Norman Clark in seventh position. Then it is Wayne Van Billion in eighth position. Norman Clark moving up a spot. Jamie Nankervis as well, hard charging as well after that little mistake in pit lane. He is going to be kicking himself for that one because that cost him the battle for the podium. He's down in eighth position with Van Billion. Tristan Koch coming into the lane now for his final stop of the night. He's going to get some fuel. He's in 10th position with Jared Williams in 11th spot and Justin Allen down in 13th position. He is fair few laps down, unfortunately, but keeping that car circulating, getting himself some more experience, keeping himself out on track, and he's on for finishing in 12th position in this race, should he manage to get to the end.
So we can see here riding on the chopper cam with Nick Bottrell. He's now closed that gap to getting his lap back in second place. That's Dyson just in front of him there in that camera view. Can he get back onto the lead lap?
Well, that is it. Obviously, if he can get his lap back, that would put Tom Williams in a good position because then he'd be in the lucky dog spot. And then we'd have two Valve cars on the lead lap with Dyson too. So it would be crucial to get that lap back if he can, but also keeping the speed in the car as well. So Stevie Dubb can't close up on him as well because Stevie Dubb is all over the back of Tom Williams now and is putting him under pressure. So the battle for third position is very much on with 39 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely. But as you said, Carl, it's one thing to catch them, it's another thing to pass. But we can see now that they are both in the same camera shot. So Stevie Dubb has done a fantastic job in closing that gap. Tom Williams has had a race win this year, so he is into the playoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a big point, is a few drivers are in that position where they don't have too much to worry about because they got a win under their belt.
Stevie Dubb's just been held up there ever so slightly by Wayne Van Billion. So that's allowed Tom Williams to breach that gap again, to just ever so slightly stretch it out. I can tell you now that if if the two valve cars can get onto the podium, that will be a great reward for all the hard work that they do through the week.
Absolutely, and yeah, we've got a plethora of Williams at the moment. We've got Tom Williams, Stevie Williams, and of course Jared Williams. So makes our life easier up here in the booth. But no, it would be very good result for Valve to get two cars on the podium here tonight. Of course, DPR will want to stop that from happening and have two of their cars on the podium as well. So all important positions. At the moment, you've got to say Dyson is in a very strong spot, and ever since that caution came out and he got the lead, he has looked pretty much in control of this race. Definitely was saving a little bit in the early stages and not pushing too hard, but as it's come latterly, he is feeling pretty confident in that car, and he is looking good to get it to the very end of tonight's race.
Yeah, well, we've seen early in the race that he just wandered around the back, down around 15th, 16th position. And as we said, you can never count these guys out because they're always thereabouts towards the end of the race. And he's actually done that again tonight.
Well, it's the thing is, there's no point racing for a victory in the opening stages of a race like this. You know, when you've got 267 laps, you know, you're not going to win it in the first 60 laps. You can very much lose the race, but you can't win it. So taking it easy in the early stages is a very smart thing to do, and you know, it just gives you more options latterly in the race as well.
100% correct, Carl. You know, it's we've always said that the NASCAR is a funny thing. You've just got to sit there and bide your time, and buy your ticket to those last 20 or 30 laps, and that's what these guys have done now. We can see now again, Williams closes on Williams. We can also see there, just in the background in that shot, Ryan Jones starting to close in too. So still a little bit of room to make up to second place to Nick Bottrell, who's now 6 seconds up the road from Tom Williams.
Yeah, good results, good night so far for Bottrell and Williams. Well, Tom Williams, you know, both newer to the oval side of racing, which does mean that you just sort of, you know, they're still getting experience on this style of racing, still getting experience on these tracks, and you know, it's not a thing of just turning left on an oval. They're all so very different, and they have some very different moments, and you know, they can really. What's happened to Tom Williams there? He just lost a huge amount of speed. I thought I thought it was a lapped car going through, but no, Tom Williams just running up a little bit high, just lost a huge amount of pace, and he's got it back. He's sort of, I think he just clipped the wall on the exit and just had just lost the momentum, but he's managed to get that car back up there, get the pace back in it, and just get himself just ahead of Stevie Dubb. But now Ryan Jones is up there as well, so they are absolutely hovering over Tom Williams at the moment and looking to make their attack. So almost like vultures circling at the moment. Tom Williams has really got to not let the mirrors get in his way. He almost has to stop looking in his mirrors and just focus on driving, because if he focuses too much behind him, he is going to lose time and he is going to lose those positions.
And we see there that Jones now has just passed Stevie Williams for fourth position.
So 27 laps to go. This is the main race, really. The battle for the podium positions. Andrew Dyson is looking pretty solid, barring any incidents up in the lead. But the drivers behind, that's where this race is really coming alive. And Tom Williams having to really drive in a defensive manner to keep Ryan Jones and Stevie Dubb behind him. And he's taking that higher line, and he's going to try and run it around the outside, but he's just giving the wall a little kiss here and there, and that's not helping him with his speed at the moment. And that is giving Ryan Jones and Stevie Dubb the opportunity to start making attacks on him.
Yeah, this is what the Bottrell will want. That they want these three guys to start battling, because that gap now has come down half a second. It's down now to 5 seconds between third and second. So if Williams can hold these two DPR cars up with just keeping them behind them, that will definitely help Bottrell to his first podium of the year.
Yeah, very much so. And it's well, if Tom Williams can hold on and keep himself on the podium, it will be a great result for the team as well. So he's definitely driving, defending like a lion at the moment, as one great Spanish driver once said: "Does drive like a lion and defend like a lion," and he is doing it as they continue on. Just 24 laps to go. But as I said, he just needs to focus on the front. He needs to drive looking forwards, not looking in his mirrors, because if he starts focusing on his mirrors, he is going to lose that position. If he drives looking forwards and doesn't get intimidated, doesn't keep his eye on the back, he might be able to just keep that position. As Stevie Dubb just has a big slide coming out of two, manages to collect the car up, but definitely putting a little bit of heat in those rears and just struggling a little bit at this stage. And now Ryan Jones is getting the run on Tom Williams as they get side by side, a little bit of contact off the corner, little bit of door banging there. They are rubbing, and what do we say, Mark? Rubbing is racing.
Oh, definitely is, and we're inside that last 30, so there's no love lost here. No love lost.
Having raced Ryan Jones a couple of times, he's not going to get intimidated by a bit of rubbing. He is not going to just ease off because you're going to defend hard and you're going to rub panels with him. He will absolutely be there and absolutely go for it still. So he is doing that at the moment. But Tom Williams is doing a stellar job at the moment defending and keeping that car in the right position. He's able just to keep it up on the high line and just keep the exit speed of that car up as well. And that's crucial at the moment. Just keeping that exit speed up is what is saving him in third position.
And just see a little bit of gap that now has to get Jones to start building again. So he's been able to, as you said, Carl, just been able to hold him off. He's not worried about Jones. Oh, he touches the wall. Oh, great save. But that is his race done for podium.
That is podium over, and he might lose a position to Mark Smith as well. He'll have a lot of heat build up in those tyres, and that will be that battle over and done with. Has he done enough to keep Ryan Jones from catching up to Nick Bottrell, though? That is going to be the question. Bottrell now just has to focus on hitting those lap times, keeping up the speed for the next 19 laps. That's a big shame for Tom Williams, who was doing such a stellar job up until that point. But just that little mistake, just got caught up high, just gave that wall a little rub, and that is all it takes.
Well, we can see there now that Jones can actually see in some shots. Are we going to see Jones in trouble for fuel? That was a big clutch there.
going to be a bit close. I think he's very much saving just to be safe. But they should be able to make it. I think from my quick maths, they were looking good. So I can't see it being too much of an issue. If Ryan Jones is in trouble, then well, Dyson, Bottrell, and Stevie Dubb could all well be in trouble too. So they all stopped at similar laps. So they're all sort of running similar fuel loads. So if they're that little bit short.
Sorry, Carl, we just jumped over to Williams, and Williams is saving in the same spot. Jump on board with Dyson. You can see Dyson's just a little bit better off. He stays around the 8,000 RPM through 3 and 4. It's he coming into 1 and 2 that they both those other DPR, Williams and oh, Dyson's not saving fuel. On board now with Bottrell. So just Jones and Williams is really trying to fuel save there, coming into 1 and 2. We can see them right off. But the other difference is too, Carl, we can see there from the onboards that Jones and Stevie in the war heavy. Williams is running in 4th gear.
Yeah, and we've seen Stevie Dubb just catch the wall a few times, and that's something that can happen when you're clutching, because it just frees the car up and makes it go tight. You know, you don't have the wheels creating power. You don't have the car rotating as much when you clutch it, and it can just make the car just get really, really tight on the exit and just collect the wall. And we've seen it with Stevie Dubb a few times now, where he's just been clutching it and just caught the wall on the exit. So definitely, people aren't exactly comfortable and confident, but I think they should be okay. They should be safe to make it.
Well, I guess we'll find out in 11 laps.
We will indeed. Not far to go here in this race, and we are quickly coming to a close of events and festivities. And it is at the moment Andrew Dyson in the lead, 43-second gap to Nick Bottrell. Then about 7 seconds, about 6 seconds back is Ryan Jones from Bottrell. So Bottrell looking pretty safe now. For that P2, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. He's just got to keep that car pointing in the right direction and keep it mistake-free. And, well, we don't see another caution. It's looking pretty stable at the moment. The only real battle that you could see really coming to life is that battle for third positions between Jones and Williams. So Stevie Dubb could close that gap a little bit and might be able to just do that, but it's going to be very close indeed.
Not if he keeps hitting the wall like that.
No, you don't want to be hitting the wall too much. That does slow you down a little bit. From my experience, hitting the wall is not a good way of driving a car.
So, with 9 laps to go, Dyson out in front, all by himself.
It's been a bit of a lonely end of the race for Daiso, who has been up there, the only car on the lead lap at the moment, and that's something else to consider when you're one of those cars behind. Is you know you only have to do you don't have to do the full race distance. You're going to do one less lap, so you don't need to save quite as much to get you to the end, because you're going to be doing one less lap than the leaders. So that can sometimes help with the old fuel mileage.
But you've got to, you really got to say that it's Dyson's going to take this one for his second race win of the year. Bottrell has pretty much got second place sewn up. Jones and Williams are the real battle, but you can see there from the gap from up in the grandstands. Jones has been able to open that gap up to Stevie Williams, and then back to Tom Williams. So it's pretty well going to be status quo for the remainder of this race, I would say, unless we do see a mistake from one of these drivers.
Yeah, if we see a late caution, then of course everything is anything can happen, and it usually does. But if we go green to the end, it's looking pretty much as it is as we continue this one. 4 laps remaining for this man, Andrew Dyson. Not far to go as he crosses the line, and it's going to be pretty happy with this one. Had some good racing in there as well. As Dyson gives the wall a little bit of a rub there, just testing the safer barrier's integrity and structural rigidity. Just seeing if it's all working up to code. So he is able to just cruise through these final couple of laps, and there's not really anyone close enough to really do much on track at the moment as well. The battles are very much at the stage where not too much is happening. Tom Williams is doing a good job to catch back up to Stevie Dubb at the moment after that little mistake. He has managed to close the gap, but he is running out of laps to do it. If Stevie Dubb is needing to really heavily fuel save, though, then Tom Williams might be able to get himself back up into 4th position. But it's looking possible here for Tom Williams. So he is getting a good run. But it is quickly running out of laps indeed. Not long to go because the white flag is out for our leader, Andrew Dyson, as he crosses the line. Just one short lap to go here at Kansas Speedway, and Andrew Dyson will take his second win. Tom Williams has managed to get past Stevie Dubb, so a good recovery there from Tom Williams. We'll go back and check that one if we can after we see this man, Andrew Dyson, taking the finish line, taking the checkered flag, and taking victory here tonight at Kansas. Nick Bottrell will come home in 2nd position. A strong result from himself tonight, and I'm sure he's going to be pretty darn happy about that one. Ryan Jones comes home in 3rd position.
Mark Smith, we've lost Tom Williams there.
Yeah, Tom Williams has had a bit of a moment after taking the move on Stevie Dubb. The back end stepped out going through turn 2. and he wiped out the whole front end of his car. A real shame for Tom Williams after getting himself back up into fourth position. It all went wrong.
Got the replay here.
So see Tom Williams getting past Stevie Dubb here, gets into the corner, and he just gets the back end kicking out on him. He just doesn't save it, and you see it's just unstable, and then it kicks out again. Unfortunately, Stevie Dubb nowhere to go in that situation, and just catches Tom Williams. And well, shame for Tom Williams after a solid drive up to that point. So let's run through the results for tonight's race. It's Andrew Dyson taking the victory ahead of Nick Bottrell in second. Ryan Jones comes home in third. Stevie Dubb in fourth. Mark Smith in fifth position. Tom Williams comes home sixth. Norman Clark in seventh. Jamie Nankervis in eighth. Ninth for Wayne Van Billion. Jared Williams comes home in 10th. Tristan Koch brings it home 11th with Justin Allen in 12th. Good recovery from Justin Allen out early doors, but managed to get that car back out on track. Jeremy Sumpter out in 13th position. Ruben Phelps 14th. 15th for Kai Turner. Carl Needler 16th. Derek Jacobs 17th. And Scott Lefevre out early doors with an early incident in 18th position.
So we just wait for these guys to come up into the green room. In the meantime, we might just have a quick look at what's coming up. So as we said, next week off to Darlington Speedway, and Memorial Day after that. Some great racing coming up. Some great racing coming up right throughout all the series that we're involved in.
Track that is a very tricky one indeed, and that's going to be a very tricky race indeed. And as we said, we're off to Donington next on Checkered Flag e-streaming, and that's on Wednesday night for the GT3 series with the Aussie Outlaws, and that is going to be an exciting race, I am sure. And I haven't. I'm sure it's going to be a very tricky outing for everybody. Donington, a track that lots of people sort of underrate a little bit, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing a beautiful sunny weather there as well, with absolutely no chance of rain.
Well, I've looked at the weather forecast, Carl. We actually have some fine weather over in your part of the world.
No, don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's a trick. Well, we'll get out there and it'll be snowing.
We do have our race podium now up in there. So we might just let me finding buttons and different things. So we'll pull our third place man up, and I'll hand it over to you, Carl, to run through our podium.
Ryan Jones, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on third place here at Kansas on what was a bit of a tricky night in the end.
Yeah, bit of a shitter, but you have those races, don't you?
So we noticed coming into pit lane, a little bit of a moment between yourself and Stevie Dubb.
Yeah, the strategy was to break later than Steve. Unfortunately, Steve broke too late, which meant I broke way too late. I think the debate is whether he would have got a speeding penalty without me hitting him or not. I think it would have been close.
Yeah, it was. It didn't look too. It wasn't like super egregious. It didn't look like you were flying in at too much speed, but it was just that little bit over, and that little bit of contact did not help things out as well. And both of you getting that penalty made for some hard work in that final section of the race for you guys.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and we obviously should have been second and third. So it really only dropped us one spot. Daiso was doing a pretty good job with his fuel as well as his tyres. I couldn't figure out why I was burning so much fuel. Probably could have got to Nick if I didn't have to clutch for the last 30 odd laps. Don't know why, but I was pretty hard on my fuel tonight for some reason.
Yeah, we did notice the clutch was heading in a little bit, and that answers that question, that the fuel was a bit marginal. I mean, how much did you have left when you crossed the line?
I coughed across the line, and I was a lap down too, so I'd have been in real trouble if I was on the lead lap.
That makes it even more scary. Well, you did make it in the end, coming home third. Look, some great racing early on as well. We saw you battling for the lead too. Looked like you had pretty good pace out on track. If things didn't go too wrong, if that caution didn't come out when you came into the lane, do you think you would have been up there battling for the lead?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at the replay of when I was running into Sumter. Good old Netcode. I gave him a little rub, and then Netcode said, "You're getting doored." That's great. I don't know. I don't really like this place in the Cuff car because the tyre wear seems to be pretty random. Daiso showed us in the second stint you can just go hard and still hold on at the end of the run, which makes tyre saving pretty irrelevant. But then I tried to go hard in the third run, and my tyres were cooked. So yeah, not a big fan of this place. I couldn't really save the tyres. So I think once Daiso figured out that strategy, we were done for.
Yeah, it's always awkward when Daiso works out a good strategy. It's hard to beat him sometimes.
There are ways.
I go, well, the only way I could beat him is by killing him. But other than that, you've got the ability on your hand. Look, a good result in the end, though, coming home third tonight on a track that you weren't enjoying too much. So not too much to be too disappointed with that, I'm sure. So before I let you go, Mr. Jones, the love and shout out to personal sponsors and people will make Daiso do all the hard work.
Yeah, big shout out, Steve. Deserved the top 3 tonight. Sorry about that, buddy. Good job, Daiso on the win. And Nick brought home a clean car in second. Just you boys put on a good broadcast, and Mum watching on as always, I hope. I hope not. Wait, I hope not tonight.
Yeah, we won't mention tonight to her. That's all right. We'll skip past that one. Congrats, Ryan. Well done. And I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time, mate.
Cheers, boys.
Ryan Jones there, coming home third for DPR tonight. Next up for Valve, it's going to be Nick Bottrell joining us up here in the booth. Nick, congratulations on a very well-deserved P2 here tonight at Kansas.
Thanks, boys. I think I got a bit lucky there with Rhino and Stevie Dub getting themselves a speeding penalty on that last green flag stop. But I'll definitely take the podium while it's there.
Absolutely. Look, the whole thing about getting a good position is you have to do everything perfectly, and you pretty much nailed that tonight. You didn't get any speeding penalties, and you kept the car in the right position at the right time, and kept the speed up at the end as well.
Yeah, I was actually needing to go through a bit of fuel saving at the end there, so kudos to me teammate Tom there. Probably wasted his own rubber trying to stay ahead of Rhino and Steve, just so I could save a bit of fuel to actually get to the end.
Yeah, we did notice that battle behind, and it definitely definitely helped a little bit for sure. But you had some really good pace out there tonight, and looked like the long run pace in the car was pretty solid.
Yeah, we just the outright pace kind of over kind of the short to mid range. We just had nothing for those 3 or 4 other boys, but they seemed to come kind of right back to us, and yeah, like you're saying, over the long run we actually weren't too bad. It's just the gap that they'd created to begin with was kind of a stretch too far, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the way the cautions fell, and some of those safe pace cars coming out didn't help things too much as well.
Yeah, look, the early one probably didn't really help anybody. It was probably a bit too early to have any real strategic play, and then everything else just kind of really didn't change it, other than the second last one kind of made it 1 or 2 stops to the end, so and full fuel to get to the end. So there's not a massive amount of wiggle room strategic wise to kind of alter the course of it, really.
No, that's it. But you absolutely nailed it tonight. A really good result. And look, coming home second tonight, not a bad feat at all. And just gives you that little bit of extra confidence on the ovals, I hope.
Oh, 100%. Like, I haven't even been really doing ovals for 12 months yet, so I'm still learning as I go. So that's kind of a big kudos to the rest of the Valve boys as well, kind of helping each other out along kind of our journey here, learning this oval business.
Well, we're off to Darlington next time out. A very different style of oval. How are you feeling for some of the shorter tracks?
Honestly, I prefer the short tracks or the super speedways. Kind of my real struggle zones, all these mid-sized tracks where it really comes down to kind of a bit of tyre saving and that sort of stuff. That's kind of what I'm really learning at this stage.
That's the hard stuff to learn, but it does come. And look, you're definitely going to get that little bit of extra confidence and definitely getting there. Well, congratulations on P2 here tonight, Nick. Before I let you go, though, love shout outs to sponsors. People, go for it, mate. You've earned it.
Not too easy, boys. Appreciate it a lot. And the Valve supporters with RSW graphics and everything simulated, and obviously just all the boys at Valve Esports.
Look, congratulations tonight on P2, Nick Bartrell. Well done indeed, and hope we'll be seeing you back here in the booth in no time. Hopefully, one step higher in the future.
Hopefully one day we'll get there, and yeah, shout out to the other boys on the podium. Good night racing. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Nick Bottrell for Valve Esports, coming home in P2 here tonight. Next up, and finally tonight, it is the pilot of the 41. It is the man himself, Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyson, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on what looks on paper to be an absolute dominant victory here tonight. The only car on the league lap and winning here in Kansas.
Yeah, certainly not the way it looked at the end of the race, how the race went. But yeah, take it. Would have been a good race with the boys if they didn't get their little penalties and stuff like that. But yeah, take it.
Yeah, I know. These teammates just hitting each other in pit lane, giving themselves speeding penalties. It's just not good enough. You're gonna have to give them a good talking to.
No, they need to wrap across the fingers, but the sounds, the knuckles, I should say. But by the sounds of things, they were both getting a penalty regardless if they hit each other or not. So yeah, they were just racing each other hard, which is good to see. Anyway.
Absolutely. Well, we saw some good racing out there tonight. You definitely had some good pace, but in the early stages, you were just keeping it nice and calm and just not really worrying too much.
Yeah, just wanted to cruise around and do my own thing, really. And it seemed like I had a few sheep with me for a while there, so that was a bit of fun. But yeah, the race eventually got going, and then another yellow came out, and decided I'd have a bit of a go of it. But at the same time, it sort of ended up being a fuel race there towards the end. So that last yellow came out like the really awkward time, and from that point on, it was a real stretch to sort of get all the way home in only 2 pit stops. So had one eye on that sort of thing as we went along, but managed to pull it off. So I think a few other boys were struggling, and the other lads were.
Yeah. How much fuel did you have left up your trouser legs?
Oh, well, none actually. I didn't even have sneaky fuel in my water bottle. I ran out coming out of turn 4.
Oh dear! I mean, that's just not good enough. You're just using too much fuel tonight.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was one of those situations. Obviously, I could afford to sort of run out and roll sort of half a lap sort of deal. But even if you got like a gap that's a couple of seconds or whatever it might be, if it's a close race, you can pretty much afford to run out coming out of the last corner and roll across the line, and you'll make it. So it was sort of that situation in my head. That's how I was approaching it anyway.
Well, I think we also saw in one of the pit stops as well, it looked like you may have just been very close to running out of fuel, or did run out of fuel just coming into the lane.
Yeah, I think that might have been the first run after the yellow. So that's when I was definitely paying attention to the fuel number the most, trying to run out as much as I could. And I was all right. In the end, I would have made it to the pits without doing a big clutch all the way into turn 3 and through turn 4 sort of deal. But I did it anyway, just to be safe.
Yeah, well, better to be safe than sorry, and always nice to have a little bit of fuel in there, just when you get up there, just in case you overshoot the box.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a funny story, and probably a little bit of advice for some people out there listening. I had a situation once where I actually did have no fuel, and I overshot the box. And then I thought, oh, no problem, I'll just chuck it in reverse and roll it back on the starter motor. But silly me, I had anti-stall clutch on, so it wouldn't go backwards because the clutch would stay disengaged. So for that reason, that exact reason, I never run anti-stall clutch anymore. Race that way, whether it be oval racing or beat supercars, whatever it might be.
A good bit of advice there, and yeah, that's absolutely
It has
useful
happened
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, it has absolutely rolled me. Had to tow for like 2 seconds to go backwards. It was ridiculous. I think it was longer than that, but anyway.
I've never had anything like that happen to me. That's totally why I didn't bring it up. No, look, congratulations tonight, Daiso. Well done indeed as well, taking another victory in the Aussie Outlaws as well. And before I let you go, I'd love the shout out to the sponsors, and you get the hard job tonight of doing all the sponsors on the list.
Cool. All the love and the shout outs go to all the drivers who rolled up tonight. Thanks to all those folks who came out here and had a dip. I think there's another league that's sort of finished off running on Saturday, so we've got a few more numbers tonight, so that's good to see. Who else we got? We'll just say quick shouts to Southwell, Lifton Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, and simriggies.com, and all the DPR boys, and all you folks who put this league and wonderful broadcast together. We really appreciate it.
You're always welcome. Are you doing any of the 24 this weekend?
No, some of the other boys are, so I'll check in with them after this and see how they go.
Well, we wish them the best of luck.
The GT? I think they're racing GT4. Is that what you're asking? Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, Mark is chatting in our ear. And of course, the GT3 Championship on Wednesdays. Of course, you're currently sitting in that championship as well, and looking forward to Donington this week.
Yeah, hopefully it rains again, because that was a good bit of fun, actually. And I was actually hoping we were racing at Silverstone next week, but it's not. It's Donington. It's another really narrow track, but I'm sure we'll all try and channel our inner Ayrton and go and make up 37 spots in the first lap, and hopefully not murder everybody. But yeah, no, it should be a good bit of fun on the way.
We look forward to seeing you there for that as well, Di. So look, congratulations tonight. Have a good one, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Cheers, boys. See you later.
Well, we are done and dusted here for tonight, but we have the GT3 is coming up on Wednesday night, of course, so we hope you can all join us there for that. But from all of us here at Checkered Flag e-streaming, from myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with you, of course, Mr. Mark Johansson doing all the hard work in the background. We wish you a very good night, and we will see you again next week for some more Cup Car action at Darlington.